The River Idle, year 616 AD, the forces of a powerful East Anglian king marched down to the banks of the Kingdom of Lindsey's eastern border. Straddling the waters at the river's edge, countrymen of the eastern lands unleash a furious war cry amidst the clashing of steel against their shields. Emerging from the middle are two figures from the tightly packed cluster of warriors. The first, a young soldier barely past his teenage years, grasping in his possession a helmet of intricate and ornate craftsmanship. The other, a more dishevelled, weathered man draped in the fine-crested armour of royalty, their names unmistakable to the loyal followers surrounding them: Raedwald, a potential heir to the throne, and Raedwald, the king of the East Angles. Positioned on the opposing side are the forces of Deira under the kingship of Aethelfrith, a powerful and now enraged ruler disavowed by those he faces across the river. This clash of kings, whilst partly a conflict over land, spoils and influence, also harbours another price, that of an exiled king named as Edwin, a major source of Aethelfrith's seething anger. And now, at the behest of great cries of victory and valour, both kings order their men towards this calm, unnotable stretch of water, so beginning the great battle of the River Idle. Previous to the situation both sides find themselves, Aethelfrith's desire for power drove him into marriage with the sister of Edwin, Princess Atcha of Deira. Paranoid into believing Edwin to be a threat towards his aims of a larger Bernicia Deira kingdom, Aethelfrith ruthlessly pursued his newly married wife's brother into exile to consolidate completely his rule over the kingdom. From a brief respite in Mercia to later seeking shelter in the Kingdom of East Anglia under King Raedwald, Edwin's aim was to eventually build a force of his own and re-establish his own claim to the Northern Kingdom. With his own lands now under threat from Aethelfrith's increasingly aggressive demands to return the exiled king, Raedwald, whilst initially swayed into accepting the demands in return for treasures, rebukes the Northern King's offer and resolves on war. This decision, likely more political in nature than moral, places Raedwald in the eyes of his people as a leader not dishonoured or betraying of his word for the sake of money, and as a source of strength towards tyrants. And so, over the following months, a vast army of East Anglians marched northwards beyond their own boundaries to confront the hostile Northern King. Upon the failure to resolve matters peacefully, the first waves of soldiers charged at one another with their swords raised and shields steadied. An almighty roar erupts across the field of battle as frenzied soldiers slice and slash their way through one another's lines, with huge numbers dispossessed of their weaponry, limbs, and even lives. Raedwald's forces lead an attack of their own, inflicting huge damage on the Deiran lines. Raedwald, emboldened by his son's assault, swiftly leads a second charge of his own men down the centre and later commands a three-pronged split of the East Anglian forces to outmaneuver the enemy. Whilst the battle ensues from the opposing side, the powerful conqueror Aethelfrith, opportune in the moment, leads a detachment towards his exiled enemy. Yet whether overcome by rage or gravely mistaking him for Edwin, the Deiran king leads a force into the realm of Raedwald. Despite possessing valiance in their defence, the younger heir's units falter to the stronger and more experienced enemy, where they are barbarically sliced down. And surrounded by Deiran warriors on all sides, Raedwald requests strength from his gods before suffering the same fate as his countrymen. Any surviving East Anglians a part of Raedwald's units are pursued and later annihilated in the Idle's now corpse-clogged waters. Further downstream, word of Raedwald's death reaches his father Raedwald, who rallies all East Anglians to his cause with immediate haste. Once united with Edwin, the wrathful and now grief-stricken king launches a massive assault on the Deiran lines. The ensuing slaughter of Aethelfrith's ranks sees the northern ruler defeated and vengefully slain by Raedwald. Most surviving Deirans are butchered, and under the setting afternoon sun on the River Idle, the East Anglian forces, while severely battered, reign victorious. Despite the hard-fought victory, both Deiran and Anglian sides suffer massive losses, as was commemorated in the later saying, "The River Idle was fouled with the blood of Englishmen." Little is known of Raedwald's life before, during or after the Battle of the River Idle. In the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle dated to the 9th century, he's listed as one of 9 Raedwalders along with Edwin, a term which was used to signify a ruler holding large swaths of power over the numerous Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. His reign is thought to have begun at the very end of the 6th century in the year 599 until sometime in the 620s, possibly 624 or 625. The mysteries surrounding this powerful southern king are still debated to this day, even down to whether he is fully confirmed to be the bearer of the famous Sutton Hoo helmet. After the Battle of the River Idle, Edwin would go on to rule the newly merged kingdoms of Deira and Bernicia, albeit under some form of control and alliance of Raedwald. According to a work by St. Bede the Venerable writing in the 8th century, King Raedwald held sway over all provinces south of the Humber, thus regarded as one of the most powerful pre-unified English kings of the British Isles.